Hey, this is Don Bendel with another true story for you. Totally true, trust me. There was a young man that wanted a job, so he went to this giant store. It was like a combination of a giant car dealership, Cabela's, Walmart, all rolled into one. The owner of the store was a self-made man. He was also the owner of the story, I guess. But anyhow, he was a self-made man and he looked for go getters all the time, and he had a lot of good salesmen that worked at the store. And this young man was enthusiastic, so the guy decided to give him a try. He said he'd let him work that day, and at closing that night, he wanted the young man to come to him and let him know how many sales he made and for how much money. So at the end of the day, the young man went to him and he said, well, how many sales did you make today? 20, like most of my sales people do? And the young man said, no, sir, I only sold one customer today. And the guy said, one customer? He said, that's not good. He said, what did his sale amount to? I mean, how much was it for? And the young man said, $121,058. He said, $121,058? He said, what'd you sell them? He said, well, I sold them a fish hook. Then I sold him a few more fish hooks, and I said, hey, if you're going to have a few fish hooks, you ought to get a new rod and reel to go with it. So he got a new rod and reel to go with it, and I sold him a really nice rod and reel. And then I sold him some trout rigs, and I sold him some bass lures and fake night crawlers, things like that. I sold him some live bait, and I sold him a fishing net. And then I said, if you want to do some really good fishing, we've got a really nice outboard boat, and it's got an electronic trolling motor on the other end of it. It's a fishing boat. Let me show it to you. So I showed it to him, and I said, now you can't haul this around without a good trailer. So I sold him the trailer to go with it. And the owner is really getting impressed now, and he said, well, then what? He said, well, I asked him what he drove, and it was a small car, and I said, well, you can't pull that trailer with that small car. We have a Dodge Ram Charger pickup truck for sale. Why don't you take a look at it and test drive it? So he did. And he said, so I sold him that with the towing package, and everything came up to $121,058. And 58 cents. And the guy said he came in to buy all that stuff, and he said, no, sir. He came in to buy a box of tampons for his wife. And I said, sir, your weekend shot. You might as well go fishing. That's my story for today.